I did it. I'm finally releasing my first ever album. I'm Dennis from Groove Art. I make music while wandering the world. Check the links below for some original music. I'm here to tell you that I am finally releasing my first album ever on May 29th. So it is mid-May right now, so in about 2 weeks or less, you will hear it in Spotify, YouTube, all the major platforms, Apple Music, all that stuff. It was a long journey. There were a few last-minute details that I wanted to get done, one of them being drums that I wanted to record. And second is I was able to even shoot an album cover here in beautiful Pessoa. So I'm really happy to announce that. I thought I'd quickly share with you my journey of getting there. In doing this, in preparing for this video, I thought a little bit about how I got here. And so I thought I'd share that with you as well. It started off as a pipe dream about 18, almost 20 years ago, that I would write a CD back in those days. I'd write a CD. And the dream was so big, it was kind of like one of those silly dreams, right? I was in music school, and there was a seminar, optional seminar, about how to write a song. I went to it, and it kind of made sense to me there. Well, everything makes sense on paper, right? And I thought, yeah, it'd be cool to write a song, write an album. I kind of let it go. What ended up happening is that I got caught up in having to learn stuff in music school, for sure. I kind of burned out from music school and took a break from music, but my brain kept continuing on. And at some point, I picked it up again and I started taking more lessons and getting more interest and started playing again. And this idea of writing a CD or writing an album started to slowly come back. But I was always going through this attitude of, no, I need to become a better bass player. I need to understand my theory better. My knowledge of chording and harmony is not good enough. So I spent time, and life goes on, and I was trying to learn those things, trying to get myself prepared to write an album. But the desire to write an album slowly started picking up. And at some point I said to myself, when am I going to be ready to write this album? I'm never going to know enough. I'm never going to be good enough. My bass playing is not going to be good enough. My singing or whatever, my music skills are not going to be good enough. And when you think about it, you can tell yourself that for the rest of your life. And that's what was happening to me. Fast forward to about 3 years ago, I ended up, during one of my YouTube rabbit holes, I found this video, and the guy, it was about songwriting, and the guy said, you need to write a song as fast as you can. And he said, write your song in 4 hours. And I listened to that, and I thought, that's kind of crazy. But I thought, what the hell, I got nothing to lose. I'm going to go ahead and spend 4 hours and write a song. Before we talk about what a song is, about the act of writing a song, we should define it. So a lot of people would define writing a song as having harmony, melody, and some structure. There's probably a few other items in there as well, but those are the most important things. So from that perspective, you should be able to blast out different ideas. I didn't know that at the time, so I was thinking writing a song was like full produced, all the bells and whistles all there. Anyway, I took this time, 4 hours, and I got to work. And it took me a lot longer than 4 hours. But the point is, I kept to it. After about working for 4 days, maybe 2 or 3 hours a day, because I stuck to it. I stuck to it until I was happy with something I got. After about 4 days, I actually had a really good starting idea and something that I'm going to say 80-90% of the structure of a song was all there. So I thought, hey, I might be able to do this. Again, I let it go for a little while. I found myself a few months later, or maybe a year later, in the Philippines which I visit quite often. And there I met a singer who I loved her voice. We ended up chatting, and I've talked about her in my other videos, but we ended up chatting and we decided that we'd collaborate. So we did in fact do that, and there was where I recorded. I wrote she helped me with melody. She came up with the melody for and lyrics, most of the lyrics, and we ended up collaborating, and it was my first song ever that I had recorded kind of in a professional manner. So we came up with some ideas, we put the song together, we went to a recording studio in the Philippines, and we recorded the whole thing. And that was the beginning of kind of my, oh, I can do this type of attitude. So once we recorded that song, I got to work because I knew that I could do it at that point. I'd kind of proven to myself. I didn't know if I was any good. That's another whole story. You guys can be the judge. But I knew that I could do it. I could write a song, at least to my own ears, to my own satisfaction. So I got busy. So it took me a good 2 years from when I decided to start, maybe a year and a half, 2 years, when I decided to start, to today, where everything is actually completed. All my parts completed, I should say. So it took a long time. It was a lot of work. There was a lot of things that happened in those 2 years. Some life got lived. But I was working on and off it for 2 years. You know, I do move around a lot, so it was kind of during travel and in between travel and all sorts of stuff. But there was a lot of activity that happened between then, including taking lessons, singing lessons, guitar lessons, drum lessons, and multiple of each of those. Another discouraging moment was I was probably about 65% of the way through a song and realized the harmony didn't work properly. So I had to go back. I think I rewrote the harmony for that 2 or 3, maybe 4 times. And during that time, I felt like giving up on the song and just throwing it away because it was just frustrating. Some issues with coming up with the right melodies, with the right bass lines. All of that takes time and energy, and you know, it's a little bit of hard work. But I will say the learning that I've gone through, that I've had, has been incredible. So I've taken lessons and recorded with different people all over the world. I recorded with 11 people other than myself, based in the Philippines, in Canada, and in Brazil. So it was definitely a worldwide project and really fun. But it did take a lot of time and energy and effort. There were some disappointments along the way, yours truly being one of them. I know, I've talked about this before, I know that I fired myself on one track in terms of vocals. I wrote a song called So Amazed, and I was attempting to track it. At the end of that day, I just couldn't handle, it's not that I couldn't handle my voice, I couldn't handle the energy. You know, my singing is probably my weakest musical skill. I'm not sure I'd say that. It's the hardest skill to learn for me. So I fired myself and got a real singer to sing that. Eric sang that song for me. And the same thing happened with drums. I didn't fire myself, but I think I've talked about this in my last video. But I drummed, didn't like the result, and decided to re-record it. So I actually re-recorded it just 2 days ago here. In fact, I had to record it twice because I recorded it here the first time and didn't work out. We had some technical issues, and I recorded it again just 2 days ago, and I'm happy with the result now. So I actually recorded that song 3 times, once in Vancouver, twice here in Brazil. We recorded that all remotely. So my producer Jason was in Vancouver, I was here in Brazil. that might be a topic for another video. But everything's all wrapped. So that, in a nutshell, is my story of how I got here to get this album out. Lots and lots of work, some discouraging moments. All this takes time and energy. And the energy is also an emotional toll too, because every now and then you feel like giving up. I know I did. I'm pretty sure this is a common thing for most of us artists. I've talked about this before. You know, we're kind of naked out here and doing our best, and self-confidence is one of those things that you kind of have to put on a thick skin. Anyway, lots of different challenges like that, but I knew that I really wanted to get a CD out. I keep saying CD like I'm living in the 90s, but that's because the dream started kind of around that time frame, or a little bit later. But so my CD became, okay, I'm not going to release a CD, I'm going to release an album, but I had committed to 10 songs. So that's what we're going to get. We're going to get 10 songs. 3 are already up on Spotify. You can see the links below for them. I'm going to include those on my album of 10. I have 1 that's already written in the can, but I haven't released it yet. And I have 6 that I've been working on for the past year. Actually, they were all basically written here in Brazil. That's kind of cool. Just thought about that now. So I have 6 that are all brand new, 1 that you haven't heard. So 7 new tracks, plus the 3 that already exist to make an album of 10. So that'll be out, as I say, towards the end of the month. I think that's it for now. I'm really happy to share that news with you. I'm so excited for you guys to hear it. I want to know what you guys think. And I'm already working on the next one. There's no rest for the wicked here. I'm not going to promise any dates. It's all way too early, but I'm trying to hone my ideas. I think it'll take less than 3 years. 3 years now, though. I've learned a lot during this process, and I've learned how to try and streamline. And of course, theory and playability, all those things are slowly getting better over time, but I could still tell you that I'm not good enough. I could say that to the end of my days. That's it for me. I'm Dennis from Groove Art from beautiful João, Pessoa, Brazil, where I'm currently living for a few months. I'm on beautiful Cabo Branco beach, and it's actually fall here, believe it or not. It's 30 degrees and fall, but that doesn't mean fall like you might be used to. Fall for me is 30 degrees and maybe just less days of complete sunshine. So today is a little bit cloudy. It can rain all day. It can rain for 3 or 4 days during the winter time, during the fall and winter. So we've been getting our fair share of rain, but there's usually days where, or certain hours during the day where the sun pokes out for a little bit and we forget about it all until it rains again. Until the next one, I'm Dennis from Groove Art. Check the links below for some original music. Maybe by the time you see this, my album links will be down there as well. Thanks for watching. See you next one.